Hello everybody, this is Dr. Peter Hoffman again, coming to you from Richardson, Texas. And I want to focus on a molecule that we discussed last time, a miracle molecule. Because our body needs all the help it can get, and what we end up doing is eating a lot of junk food. A lot of molecules that destroy our bodies. And these molecules come in the form of sugars, most of them. Sucrose is a big one, a 12-carbon sugar that's broken up in the mouth through an enzyme called amylase. That sugar is then food for bad bacteria to destroy your bone, your gums, and your teeth. As we get older, more and more people get gum disease. And you think, well, what's so bad about gum disease? Well, around your teeth is a collar that swells up. That bacteria collects in that collar where the food is sitting, the plaque. Plaque consists of particles of carbohydrates, sugars, and is a food for that bad bacteria to multiply and form huge colonies. Those colonies then feed the bloodstream bacterium that go throughout the body. This is not hypotheses. This has been proven for many years now. We've known that the mouth is a cause of major health problems. One of those major health problems is heart disease. The bacterium P. gingivalis breaks down the tissue in the heart. The bacterium can also cause problems for the pancreas. And we have issues such as pancreatitis that are also aggravated by the sugar intake. That sugar intake, many believe, can lead to pancreatic cancer. We know it leads to diabetes. And another really bad sugar that helps with diabetes and fatty liver disease is high fructose corn syrup that is being put in a lot of foods. It's been put in even Gatorade and a lot of canned foods in order to sweeten them cheaply. It's a very cheap sugar for the industry to use. And it cans very well. In other words, it's a sugar that doesn't break down when you heat it. So they use it for canning. They use it in applesauce, baby foods, a lot of products, yogurt. So we have to be aware of what's on the label of the food we eat. Another big problem, besides the type of sugar, is of course the amount of sugar. And people love sweet things and they consume tremendous amounts of it. Our nation is one of the most unhealthy nations in the world because we consume so many junk sugars and junk carbohydrates. The carbohydrates are converted into sugar in the mouth. So that's a form of sugar that many people don't count on. But when you eat a piece of chocolate cake, you're getting the straight sugar, but you're also getting the carbohydrate sugar that's converted. So you need to realize that if you want something sweet, find a good sugar. And there is one. In fact, the sugar that I talk about is a natural sugar. It's not a additive or a sweetener that's been produced in a laboratory. And we see all of those sweeteners that we consume, including even stevia. Stevia is a natural sugar found in certain herbs, but it is a unnatural sugar to the body because we don't typically eat herbs. So they weren't designed to be consumed, yet we consume a lot of it. It's what we call an unsymmetrical sugar. What if there were a symmetrical sugar that was simple, did not feed the bacteria, that protected your body, that increased salivary flow, which is extremely important for your mouth to prevent disease, and that also helped all the organs in the body because it helps defeat bacteria? What if there were a sugar like that? Wouldn't that be incredible? Well, there is. The miracle molecule I'm telling you about is actually a sugar, but the FDA allows it to be sold as sugar-free. Why? Because it is so good for us. It doesn't act like a sugar. Even when it gets into the bloodstream, it doesn't increase the glycemic index. It doesn't increase the potency for diabetes. It decreases it. It has a glycemic index of only 7, whereas regular table sugar, which is sucrose, has a glycemic index of 70. And that's why it is a bad sugar. Even if it's a cane sugar is sucrose. And people say, oh, it's okay to eat a lot of sucrose because it's cane sugar because it's natural. No, you're being lied to. It's sugar. It increases diabetes. It increases the amount of fat in your body. Now, high fructose corn syrup is worse. That is true, because it can cause fatty liver disease, and it fools the body into making you hungrier and hungrier, and that's why they put it in soft drinks. But it's also put in many other foods that are labeled as vegetables, as fruit, to increase the sweetness of canned fruit, to increase the sweetness of vegetable in cans, to increase the sweetness of baby foods, you name it. High fructose corn syrup is being put even in Gatorade. And that's a crazy thought because most people think, oh, that's a salty drink. Well, just start reading all the labels. These are bad sugars. They cause harm to your organs. 5 of the major causes of death are related to the mouth. We talked about this on the last video. The heart, because of bacterium that come from those swollen gum tissues in your mouth. That swollen gum tissue is a result of inflammation caused by feeding the bad bacteria, the sugar that you eat. And then the bone is destroyed underneath that gum tissue. And then your teeth get loose and they fall out. The same bacterium that can cause bone loss and other issues, such as the swollen gum tissue, can cause tooth decay. Your teeth are very important for your health, and your mouth is 10 times more important because all that swollen tissue feeds the bloodstream with bad bacteria. That bad bacteria is not just going to the heart, it's going to the pancreas too. And so there are good studies that link pancreatitis, even pancreatic cancer, to high blood sugar and the high consumption of sugars. There's also diabetes, and we know that direct connection. Another major cause of death related to the mouth is one that few people ever want to get, and that is oral cancer. But the main cause of oral cancer is the HPV virus. And likewise, another death-related problem related to the mouth is sleep apnea. And that can be aggravated by inflammation. So anything that causes inflammation is bad for us. To counter inflammation, to counter the bad bacteria, xylitol works. because it's a 5-carbon sugar. The bacterium eats 6-carbon sugars. This is a 5-carbon sugar. The black dots are the carbon. I'm holding onto the head, and here you have one of the arms and one of the legs. So together, this molecule can grab, and using the head, it can grab calcium, folding, because it's symmetrical. The fact that it's symmetrical is extremely important. The symmetry is biocompatible to the body. The body likes symmetry, just like you have 2 arms and 2 legs. So therefore, it is a sugar that your body uses. Not only uses externally in your gut, but it uses it internally in each cell. The body produces xylitol, and it's stored in the mitochondria. When you take these 5 carbons and you connect them, it forms a pentose sugar, which is ribose. That ribose is key to DNA and RNA, deoxyribose nucleic acid. Therefore, that ribose is helping to build your body. The xylitol may be used to create that ribose. So not only is it natural in strawberries, in cauliflower, in plums, in raspberries, in mushrooms, it's natural in your body. That is why I call it supernatural and the miracle molecule. But it does one more thing besides all of that. And that's what I'm going to focus on today. And that is that when you mix it with saline solution, you can create a liquid that when you spray it in your mouth, it breaks up the plaques created by Streptococcus bacteria. In other words, it can fight strep throat. And I was extremely sensitive to strep throat, and so I learned from using this that it kept me from getting a dry cough, from getting sick with strep. Not only that, but even more important is that when you mix it with saline solution and use it in a nasal squirt, it can knock out all kinds of problems. Sinus infections. It can do away with the burning in the sinuses. It can cut down on the nasal drip. It can break up that phlegm that causes lung problems and bronchial problems and sore throats. Why? Because it's hypertonic. I mentioned that in the second and third discussions. The fact that it's hypertonic means it draws liquids. Just as in the mouth, it draws saliva. It creates saliva that helps to break down food and control the bad bacteria. If you don't have any saliva, you're going to have a big problem. Likewise, it initiates fluid flow in all the mucosal cells in your nasal cavities. All of them. They start producing interstitial fluids and fluids that can help in breaking down the phlegm and controlling the bacteria. But the actual saline solution and the xylitol also are fighting that bad bacteria. So all three together, they clear your nasal cavities, your sinuses, and then your throat and your mouth of the bad bacteria. That is so important. I came down with the summer cold about a month ago. And at first I ignored it. In fact, I went out and played tennis. And it made it so bad, I started using the nasal drip or the nasal squirt along with the spray in the mouth, and it counteracted that quite quickly. And one other thing you can do if it gets really bad is you can buy a bottle squirt, which is more potent. You can squirt a lot more of that solution into your nose. That company actually supplies the squirt, the spray, and that bottle, and it's called Xlear. I don't work with that company, but I like their product and realize how much good it's done for me, that I want to share that with you. So we've gone over a lot today. Just remember that xylitol protects you. Don't listen to the sugar industry and those others that are trying to tell you you get too much of it, it's going to give you the runs. Well, guess what? It does increase fluid flow in the colon, but that helps prevent constipation, which causes cancer. It also forms butyrate in the colon, which lines the colon and protects it from the irritation and the bad bacteria and the yeast. But it also, as I said earlier, it's helping to modify the microbiome so that it's favorable to the body. Because of what it does in the mouth and in the sinuses, it's doing in the colon too. So God bless, and remember this. Remember xylitol.